A little-noticed piece of news, Ukraine's Deputy Foreign Minister Vadim Pristaiko said on an interview this week that his country is willing to risk nuclear war with Russia over the ongoing conflict in the region. Specifically, Pristaiko said, "Everybody is afraid of fighting with a nuclear state. We are not anymore in Ukraine. However dangerous it sounds, we have to stop Russian President Vladimir Putin somehow." The conflict in the Ukraine has reared prospects of a second Cold War with Russia backing separatist rebels inside Ukraine, while the U.S. and Europe support a nascent government in Kiev. It was not long ago that the specter of mutual nuclear annihilation overwhelmed global discourse, and brinksmanship was all that remained between survival and mass extinction. But in all of history, the U.S. has been the only nation to actually deploy nuclear weapons. In fact, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the U.S. bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Joining me now to put current events into historical context is Peter Kuznick. He is a professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. He's the author of Beyond the Laboratory, Scientists as Political Activists in 1930s America, co-author with Akira Kimura of Rethinking the Atomic Bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japanese and American Perspectives, and he's collaborated with filmmaker Oliver Stone to co-author the 12-part Showtime documentary film series and book, both titled The Untold History of the United States. Welcome to Uprising, Peter.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, how serious is the situation in the Ukraine currently? Most of the commentators we've spoken with say that Cold War fears are vastly overstated. And then, of course, the Ukrainian official says he's willing to risk nuclear war with Russia this week. Does that change things?
No, I don't think it really does change things. Vladimir Putin would not be reckless enough to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine, nor would he have any need to do so. If Russia wanted to go to war against Ukraine, their conventional forces are certainly more than adequate to defeat the Ukrainian army. We saw what the Ukrainians were able to do against these disorganized rebels in southeastern Ukraine. So there's not really any threat to Russia in a military sense posed by Ukraine. But this kind of bluster is dangerous, and the situation in Ukraine is dangerous. You have to remember that the United States and Russia still have hundreds of nuclear missiles pointed at each other with thousands of nuclear weapons on hair trigger alert. So this is a certain kind of insanity that still has infected the world, that began with the nuclear bombings in 1945, that has never abated since then. So we still now have 16,300 nuclear weapons around the world, and it's a very dangerous situation.